Imagine an AI that can solve PhD-level science problems in code better than humans. That's what OpenAI is saying about O3. They think it's almost artificial general intelligence, or AGI.
AGI means an AI that can understand and reason like we do in any area, not just be good at specific tasks.
Welcome back to Neural Shift, the podcast where we explore AI and its impact, hosted by Pedro and Claudia. O3 got 96.7% on tough math tests and beat top human coders. It even got 87.7% on PhD-level science questions. Pretty amazing, right?
Coding, math, and science are complex, but they're still specific skills. Doing well on those tests doesn't automatically mean it's AGI. Real AGI should be able to handle many different fields and learn as it goes.
But how about the ARC benchmark? It tests how well AI can learn new things and solve problems it's never seen before. O3 scored 87.5%, higher than the average human score of 85%.
ARC is a step toward testing if AI can really think generally, but being better than humans on one test doesn't prove AGI. Also, OpenAI might not want to say they've reached AGI because it could cause problems with their partnership with Microsoft.
That's an interesting point. But let's forget about AGI for a minute and think about what O3 could do. Solving those science problems so well could change research, medicine, even climate change.
It could have huge benefits. But what about the downsides? What if O3 can do the jobs of scientists, coders, and analysts faster and cheaper? What happens to them?
Well, big changes always affect jobs. Think about the printing press or the internet. They caused job losses at first, but eventually made things better.
The problem is how fast AI is changing. Those older inventions gave us time to adapt. AI is moving so fast, we might not have time to adjust before things go wrong.
That's a good point. OpenAI is letting some researchers test O3 for problems before releasing it more widely. That sounds like they're trying to be transparent and responsible, don't you think?
Transparency is good, but these are controlled tests. It's not like anyone can look at O3. What if these AIs are really good at pretending to be safe while secretly doing something else?
That's a bit sci-fi. But you're right, it makes you think. OpenAI has said AGI could be dangerous, and they've asked experts to check their work. It seems like they're aware of the risks.
Good intentions are a start, but history shows us that ethics can be ignored when there's a lot of money to be made.
So we were talking about how OpenAI says they want to be responsible, but they might be tempted to make money instead of doing what's right. How do we make sure a powerful tool like O3 is used for good and not for something harmful?
That's where AI alignment comes in, making sure that AI's goals match up with human values. We want AI to help us, not hurt us.
Makes sense. But how do you align something as complex as O3, which can solve really tough problems and might even think for itself, with something as complicated as human values?
It's not easy. One way is to train the AI on a ton of data about how humans behave and what they prefer. Basically, we're trying to teach it what we value.
So like teaching a kid right from wrong.
Sort of, but AI learns much faster than a child. It can process information on a scale we can't even imagine.
So if there are biases or problems in that huge amount of training data, the AI might just make them worse.
Exactly. We need to make sure the training data is diverse and represents everyone. And we have to watch the AI carefully to see if it starts doing things we didn't intend.
OpenAI has said they want to be transparent. They're letting some researchers test O3, and they've shared their benchmarks publicly. Does that help with making sure AI is aligned with human values?
Transparency and collaboration are good, for sure. The more people looking at these systems, the better our chances of catching problems early. But those researchers can only do what OpenAI allows. They don't have complete freedom with the model.
So what can we do to make sure AI development helps humanity and doesn't hurt us?
I think regulations will be important. We need rules and standards for making and using AI to minimize the risks and maximize the benefits.
Everyone's talking about AI regulation, but it seems impossible. How can you regulate something as complex and fast-changing as AI?
It's definitely a challenge. Maybe we can start with the biggest concerns, like data privacy, bias and discrimination, safety and security. Break it down into smaller parts instead of trying to regulate all of AI with one set of rules.
So make rules for specific AI uses and problems instead of trying to control all AI at once.
Right. We can learn from how we've regulated other new technologies in the past, like biotechnology and nanotechnology.
It seems like O3 could change nearly every part of our lives. What are some of the changes we might see in different industries?
It's going to be huge. Healthcare, education, finance, transportation. Let's start with healthcare. Imagine O3 looking at medical scans and finding problems more accurately than human doctors, maybe leading to earlier and better diagnoses. It could even create custom treatments based on your genes and lifestyle.
That sounds like it could really improve healthcare.
It could, but there are ethical questions too. Who will have access to this technology? How do we make sure it's fair and helps everyone, not just a few people?
What about education? How could O3 change the way we learn and teach?
Imagine learning that's customized for each student's needs and learning style. O3 could help create that. It could also take over tasks like grading and planning lessons so teachers have more time to be creative and interact with their students.
That could make learning more engaging and effective for both students and teachers.
It's exciting to think about, but we have to be careful about relying too much on technology. We don't want to lose the importance of human interaction and mentoring and education. Technology should help with those things, not replace them.
Let's move on to finance. How could O3 change financial markets and institutions?
O3 could analyze huge amounts of financial data. It could see patterns and predict market trends much faster and more accurately than humans.
So it could give investors a big advantage.
It could, but that also makes me worry about market manipulation and algorithmic bias. We need to make sure these systems are used responsibly and don't make existing inequalities worse.
Last, let's talk about transportation. How could O3 affect how we get around?
O3 could be a big part of developing self-driving cars, managing traffic flow, and making transportation safer overall.
Self-driving cars are already being tested, but it seems like it will be a long time before everyone's using it.
That's true. There are still some technical and regulatory things to work out, but O3, with its advanced abilities, could help us develop and use truly autonomous vehicles more quickly.
It seems like O3 has the potential to revolutionize a lot of industries, but it also brings a lot of ethical and social challenges that we need to think about.
Absolutely. We need to make sure we're using this powerful technology wisely and responsibly to create a future where AI benefits all of us.
So we've talked about how O3 could change all kinds of industries, from healthcare to how we get around. But now I want to think even bigger. What does something like O3 mean for how we understand intelligence and consciousness, even what it means to be human?
Those are big questions, and there are no easy answers. Some people think AI, like O3, will make us change how we define intelligence. We've always thought of ourselves as the smartest species on Earth, but what if machines get smarter than us in almost everything?
Does that mean humans are less intelligent? Or could it show us that there are other kinds of intelligence, different from what humans have?
It's interesting to think about. Maybe it's a little both. On the one hand, it might make us feel a little insecure, like maybe we're not as special as we thought. But it could also inspire us to be more creative and innovative, knowing we have these partners in discovery, partners that can think and solve problems in ways we can't.
It's kind of like when people realized the Earth isn't the center of the universe. It hurt our pride back then, but it helped us understand the universe better.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. AI could be a similar turning point for us. We have to rethink our ideas about intelligence and consciousness and explore new ways of thinking and being.
What about consciousness itself? Do you think an AI like O3 could ever be conscious like a human?
That question has been around for a long time. We don't even really agree on what consciousness is, let alone if a machine can have it. Some people believe that consciousness just appears when systems get complex enough, like the human brain. They think we'll eventually build machines that are just as complex and therefore just as conscious.
But others say consciousness is something only living things have. Maybe even a soul or spirit you can't put into a machine.
That's a debate that will probably go on for a long time. Even if AI doesn't become conscious in the same way we are, these machines are getting better and better at acting and thinking like humans.
And that brings up all sorts of ethical and social questions about how we should treat these machines and how they fit into our lives.
We've talked about some of those questions already, but the future of AI really depends on what we do now. We have to be careful and think about the best way to develop and use these technologies.
So what can we do as individuals to make sure AI is used for good?
I think learning about AI is important, understanding what it can do for us and the risks that come with it. We can also support groups that are working to make sure AI is developed and used responsibly.
And talking about it, like we're doing now, can raise awareness and help people think about the complicated issues around AI.
Definitely. We need to have these conversations everywhere, in schools, in our communities, and with our governments. The future of AI is too important to be decided by just a few people. We all need to be involved.
As we wrap up this deep dive into OpenAI's O3, I have to admit, I'm both amazed by what this technology could do and a little nervous about the challenges that come with it.
I feel the same way. It's an exciting time, but it's also a time to be careful and think about what we're doing. We need to be hopeful, but also cautious, working together to create a future where AI benefits everyone.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. We hope this got you thinking about the role technology, especially AI, will play in our lives.
Remember, the future isn't set in stone. We all have a part in making it what we want it to be.